Verbally Effective with Ina Esco is an interview-style podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, and entertainment with a Memphis focus. Each week, I'm joined by a featured guest with roots in Memphis. Verbally Effective delves into each guest's personal journey to uncover the incredible stories fueling their purpose, the highs and lows of their pursuits, and how through their passion, they are moving the culture forward. Be sure to follow Verbally Effective and Ina Esco on Instagram. Also, download the Verbally Effective podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play Music. Don't forget to check out the website and submit to be a guest at verballyeffective.com. Greetings, and welcome to another edition of the Verbally Effective Podcast, powered by We Are Memphis. I'm your host, your double E, Ina Esco. You know, this podcast intersects art, culture, politics, entertainment with a Memphis focus. Be sure that you are subscribed to the pod on all streaming platforms and that Ina Esco YouTube channel as well. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a young man with me that's bringing that soul today. He's bringing that soul. I'm talking about the Brand Operations Manager over there at Memphis Brand, Jay Gray. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm lovely. How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. This is dope.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. You guys heard me say, powered by We Are Memphis. So, Jay works at We Are Memphis. We're going to talk a lot about what We Are Memphis is and how it affects the Memphis community, how it's bringing soul to the city. But we're going to start on you, Jay Gray.
Let's go.
What part of Memphis are you from?
North Memphis.
North.
Yes. North Memphis. Let's be clear. North Memphis.
That's so, right. What area?
Raleigh, primarily. I grew up in Raleigh mostly. Some people call it the Murder 8. Some people call it...
the Murder 8? I ain't never heard that one.
Yeah, you ain't from those parts. It's okay.
I know what Hyde Park is.
Yeah, but Hyde Park, shout out to Hyde Park too. But Binghamton as well. Spent a lot of time in Binghamton. Shout out to Leicester. Went to Leicester.
I know what Leicester is.
Yeah, so shout out to Leicester. Shout out to Dale Street out there in Binghamton. Then Hyde Park as well. Shout out to Lounge Street. Shout out to those people out there in Hyde Park. But yeah, in Raleigh as well. But the Murder 8, Exit 8. It's the exit actually. It's the number of our exit when you get off on Raleigh. So
and they call it Murder 8.
Some people call it the Murder 8.
Why they call it that, Jay?
It's just
like legendary.
Yeah, you know how it is. Just kind of being apart from the hood. It's just kind of a place where it is what it is where you get there. So, but I loved it there. Shout out to those Pharaohs, Raleigh-Egypt.
Yes, Raleigh. I went there one year, my junior year. And I had a ball.
Yeah, you better had a ball.
And it was 95, 96 time frame.
Early.
Yes.
Yeah. My brother, that's why I have an older brother who went around that time. So
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to the Pharaohs. I went all through. So shout out to my class of 2003.
Class of 2003. Okay, so let's talk about growing up in the Murder 8. What was the young Jay into
a lot
back then?
A lot. North Memphis was fun. Unfortunately I was a systematic kid. I grew up. I had a good home. But tragic happened. My mother passed away when I was 12, and so and so my father was driving trucks, so he was always on the road. And my grandmother was a nurse, so she raised me, but she was, and she just passed away not too long ago, but my grandmother raised me, and she was a nurse, so she had to do 12-hour shifts. So once my mom passed away in 98, I was 12 years old, and, it just kind of let anything that, whatever was bringing me, attention, kind of let that, come my way and kind of grow within it. And from that, I got a lot of friends, I had a lot of people, but I learned a lot of things. Primarily, I just learned a lot of great people inspiring to do great things in a lot of terrible situations. A lot of people overcoming a lot of things. I met drug dealers who were 13, 14-year-old kids who were paying the bills at their house. Like homies I grew up with, I was graduating with, was paying their bills at their house and feeding their families. And then going to school in the 7th and 8th grade.
Such a big responsibility
for
a child.
You don't know that these things are happening when you in the comforts of your own home. But when you out there surviving, and you got to be a part of that type of atmosphere. And so just growing up, I seen a lot of things, had a lot of friends, lost a lot of friends, you know, through the system and through situations and things like that. So got a lot of memories and, you know, I guess, you know, backed up tears, if you will, from that, you know, but I got a lot of great motivation for our people and our minds and what we do and what we can overcome and how we can utilize and channelize what our intelligence teaches us. It's just phenomenal that I had so many people at such young ages that was doing such phenomenal things and, you know, that were losing their lives at very young ages, but that were really had plans. So I'm just living through them at this time. So it's good. It's good to live through the homies who really had those minds and they really motivate me too.
And I know you think about them all the time.
Absolutely.
Yes. Now let's talk about while you were over there, Pharaoh in Raleigh-Egypt. What kind of activities were you involved in?
What's crazy is like I did a lot of production stuff. I love sports, but I was too short. I was only like 5'3" in high school. So
high school, you had a skirt later.
Yeah, I grew up to be 5'9", but I started real short and. You know, all the hoopers. I wanted to be a hooper, but, you know, we had people like Scooter McFadden. We had legends at Raleigh-Egypt, so I wasn't going to be a part of that and being 5 feet. So I kind of saw my way of being, like, working through productions of things. So as I grew through high school, I started working behind the scenes of a lot of the stuff that we did. I started talking with, like, how we can bring different activities to our school, how to, like, hustle and get out and talk to different people, different sponsors, like, that was my job almost with my school. I would lobby for Raleigh-Egypt and have, like, different people. Like, hey, y'all bring y'all, like, for an example, I got a lot of people's tuxedos sponsored from a tuxedo shop that was at the Raleigh Springs Mall because I was, like, volunteering over there and, like, trying to get them to come about. They also sponsored our fashion show for our senior year. And so I did a lot of, like, things like that. I was involved in, like, BPA, you know, stuff like that, DECA, stuff like that. A lot of business-oriented stuff as well. So I knew a lot of that type of stuff. It was in a lot of clubs. And so just was involved a lot in that process. So,
would you say you have the gift of gab, Jay?
Yeah, that'll be a good way to say it. I love it.
Yes, and you know what? You mentioned the Raleigh Springs Mall. I used to love going to the Raleigh Springs Mall.
Yeah, I remember the first movie theater, the front movie theater, the one that used to be where Ruby Tuesdays used to be.
Yes, Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah, so I'm that old in the game, so. Yeah,
and now it's something different going on over there now, right?
Yeah, we got a police, like they got a police department / library / like walkway, skate park. Yeah, it's a lot of greatness going on over there though. And so, but it's good for the communities. No issues out there. They do a lot of stuff. They bring like the fire department and a lot of people out and do a lot of community food truck stuff out there too.
That's good.
Then we getting a lot of like. It's getting better over there. So
do you go back to Raleigh-Egypt and?
It hasn't been. It's been a while since like pandemic.
Okay.
But I used to because shout out to Miss Jones, who's the principal now. She grinded her way up through Raleigh-Egypt. She used to sub there when we was kids, and she grinded her way up to be an English teacher. And she said she didn't want to leave Raleigh-Egypt, and she became the principal at Raleigh-Egypt. So
wow.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Jones. Miss Jones Meeks now, because you know, So she But yeah, she's amazing and she's doing her thing over there. So she always got my full support. She knows that. But I need to come back over there, you know, especially now that everything's open. But
yes. Always good to go back and, you know, go to your high school alma mater. Right. Let's talk about what happened after you graduated from Raleigh-Egypt. What was next for Jay Gray?
College / hustling.
Okay.
I went to University of Memphis. Shout out to my Tigers. But I also worked a lot. A lot of me was just about working. So I was kind of doing both at the same time. But shout out to my job, Bridges. I worked at a place called Bridge Builders, where I got a lot of myself, where I found a lot of myself and finding ways to be myself into this business world. I struggled a lot as a kid with anger issues and stuff like that because of how I was, the upbringing and losing my friends and all those things. So I didn't know how to really be, professional out here, honestly, because I was so angry. And Bridge Builders kind of helped me. Shout out to Big Yo, who's still the director of Bridge Builders. And I talked to him yesterday, but shout out to my guy Mario. But Big Yo kind of helped me, channel my personality and channel my mindset into being a professional and really being a positive impact at a great organization. And I got to be myself at Bridges, and I've really gained a lot of notoriety for being myself at Bridge Builders. A lot of people loved me at Bridge Builders. People who were my students, I was a counselor there. So a lot of people loved me being this counselor and stuff like that. So I grew a lot. And so, but at the same time, I was also at the University of Memphis and also out here being crazy. And so had kids at the same time, became a single parent too. So I had to start grinding for real.
So how were you able to balance all of those things, Jay Gray?
Hustling. I learned that early. I'm actually, I used to help my grandmother with bills in high school. And so I would go to work. I took AP classes my senior year, but I would go to work and then leave work, come back, do some hustling, sold drugs for a while as a high school student and come back to school, leave school and do all these things and have everything kind of set up before my grandmother got home before work as a nurse. And so all this stuff was like set up in my brain, but I didn't ever kind of break it down or strategically organize it or use any of that. So once I got older and started utilizing tools and utilizing my mindset in a professional way, in a positive way, then it got easier for me because I had already been doing it as a 13, 14-year-old kid. Instead of now, it wasn't about survival. It was more about just, growing myself, growing my brain, growing my mindset, things like that.
So at what point in your life did you make the decision to stop hustling?
My kids. I had a son in 2008, my boy Jalen, and I just knew I wanted to not be away from him. Anytime I was away from my kids I felt that I was deciding that something was more important than them. And so anytime I was away from them, I was like, it has to be something I have to be leaving to do that's more important. Either I got to bring back something for them or bring back something that can take care of them, something. And if I'm leaving for anything else, I started feeling like crap. Like I just really started feeling bad. And so hustling was a part of it. It wasn't necessary.
A kid would change your whole life.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Your whole
Especially
life.
when you're a single dad. Like when they said like, and when my son became one, it was just me and him. So every day I had to take him to daycare. I had to feed him every day. I had to change him every day. I had to go get diapers. I had to take him to the doctor.
You was a real single dad out here.
Every single day. And so, it started like that. And I was 23, 24 at the time. And so it just became a grind from then on out. Just having to change all of that. And I had another son a year after and just kept the ball rolling. It's just like, I can't. And it just got more intensified. And so from there, that's where it really changed for me.
Oh, wow. And you know what, Jay? You are like deeply rooted in Memphis. You've seen all kind of facets of Memphis over the years. Very familiar with the Memphis nightlife scene. Talk to us about that.
Shout out to crazy story, my boy Carlos Payne, who was a bridge builder. We worked at
Carlos. What's up, Carlos?
My guy, but we worked at bridge builders together, and we used to have these parties after the summer is over with these end of the summer parties. And one time I was making drinks, and he was just like, "Hey, we about to open up, where it was Premier at the time, but the Premier was about to renovate." He was like, "Man, we about to reopen the Premier, call it level 2. What you want? You want to bartend?" So me and my best friend was like, "Let's do it."
Oh, y'all were at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
On the All Black.
Okay.
Yeah, 2008 November. We opened the All Black and and we got hooked. We got involved with it. Shout out to Whoop, man. Shout out to Coco. Shout out to everybody part of the whole thing.
What's up,
man?
CGI
Entertainment, man, for real. But I grew a lot with the workers, with the bartenders, man. We had a lot of good times and a lot of good grinds, man. It was fun. It was a fun time over there off American Way. But I also did it with Silver Spoon and but started working with Wook in different areas, and from there kind of building relationships with people doing private parties from that on, and and from that I grew to being the bar manager at the FedEx Forum.
How was that transition from like nightlife to the FedEx Forum?
It was I was good with the crowds, but the attention to detail was so much different. And excuse me, like big arenas, you have to really be very focused on the attention to detail. You know, security's really watching. They got watchers all over the place, and you got a lot of like you got to really watch drop for drop. In the nightclub, you really just kind of making sure the vibe is good. You know, when the vibe is good, you can kind of make sure everything is good. You want to make sure you ain't losing no money, but you want to make sure everything is just a vibe. When you're at the arenas, everything is a profession. Everything is drop for drop, quantified. And I had to make sure 3 levels, 6 bars, maybe at a playoff game, Tiger game, concert, no matter what, they're all fully functional, ready to go, and everybody's accounted for. And then you got people counting the monies, and it's so much happening, so much and so fast, and it grew me. And that place trained me a lot because I went, you know, with that job, it took me to Kentucky Derby. It took me to, a lot of different, like,
I know that was
big
a good
events.
experience.
Yeah, big events. And I got to see it from a corporate level, not just a nightclub level, but I saw it from a real big corporate, like, sponsored level. And it's just amazing that I got to have those experiences just from mixing drinks, running my mouth, really.
Okay, like I said, you got to get the gab, Jake, right?
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward to today, where you are the brand operations manager over there in We Are Memphis. Tell the good people about what is We Are Memphis and what you do there.
Yeah, so I'm the brand manager. So, and I'm big. My biggest part is community outreach, and so that's how I got to link up with you, and my part is just to kind of tap into whatever the unique stories are of our city. We are a digital marketing promoting organization, but strictly for the city of Memphis. And so we market and promote our city to the world and to the masses through a lot of different avenues, a lot of different partnerships, through research, a lot of things that we do through digital research, marketing research. We do a lot of different things through, we bring influencers here, we bring journalists here, we bring a lot of people here to do different data researches within our city to gain information that we can then give out to different organizations and different businesses to invest in our city. And so it's a lot of groundwork, and for me it's just finding those unique stories within our city. People love our city all over the world, and they really want to invest, they really want to find ways to get involved, and that's my job, is finding the Memphians who's doing those stories. And uniquely, I've been able to organically have these stories because of my experiences with people, with Bridges, the nightclub, working with you throughout, our professions and stuff like that. So it's been dope to just kind of plug and play, just kind of saying, hey, let's point the lens this way, let's point the lens that way, and just trying to highlight those people. And it's working so far.
Yeah, you probably drive down throughout various neighborhoods in the city of Memphis or on the expressway and see the We Are Memphis billboards with different Memphians pictures in there that have, shared their stories with you all.
Right.
So it's a constant storytelling and changing the narrative of Memphis, correct?
Absolutely.
Because, a lot of people probably know Memphis for some of the older things that are tied to Memphis. We don't even want to bring it up, but we're trying to move the culture forward.
Absolutely.
And bring some soul, right?
Right, absolutely, bringing soul to it. Other artists and times back in, we know what it is, but we try to move forward. We really try to focus on what we're doing now, and we focus on a lot of like what is the Renaissance era that we're in right now. We're in a big Renaissance era through music, through fashion, through radio, through every which way that we can think of, and through digital worlds, through podcasts and through platforms. And so I'm just trying to find different ways to see how we can do that. We got a spot like Collage Memphis here. That's a Black ballet studio that's doing great, phenomenal things. And so I can't wait to see what they're doing. Shout out to Hattiloo Theater, another people that we're working with. And so we're just really just moving forward with those type of organizations and pushing that narrative for what we're doing in the arts.
Okay, so what does We Are Memphis have coming up on the calendar that you all are activating in?
So we're really just really involved with what the city is doing. Trolley Night, for an example, which is July 29th, I believe. this upcoming July 29th. We're really working with just downtown Memphis, getting people involved with that. We have a event with the PGA. We want to bring Memphians to get them involved with the pier, and so they want to be engaged with the city, and we want the city to be engaged with them.
These are all the top golfers
in the world. They're coming into the city, and so we're working with them, and so we call the Soul in One. That'll be August 10th. So tickets are on sale now, so we're working with that. But we'll also be downtown on July 29th to just kind of promote that as well, just kind of get people involved and excited about what's going on in our city.
Yes, because it's a lot going on. You know, you and I have these conversations all the time about how Memphis is changing. And, you know, to come from where you come from where I come from, it's amazing to see the growth here in the city.
Yeah.
And the diversity that is here. I love it, too.
It's natural diverse, too. Like, shout out to Latino Memphis, who we work with as well. It's like, it's such an amazing thing. It's organic. And so you just kind of work with it and see the beauty in it, see the culture, and just kind of try to shine a light on it and just let it grow how it grows. You know, I don't want a tulip to be a rose. I just wanted to just figure out how to make both of them grow to be the beautiful flower that they are.
I love that you said that, Jay Gray, because we are about to do a segment called Rose, Thorn, Bud. And this is all about you. Okay? As it relates to Jay Gray. So let's start with Rose. I want you to tell me a recent win that you've had.
A recent win.
A win. Something positive.
I got a house recently.
Congratulations.
Yeah, for my children. So it's pretty dope. Something I haven't accomplished before. So it's a pretty cool move. And I get to be in a space where my kids are in a good community. And I'm not driving all over, just kind of being able in a space with our kids. And shout out to you. You kind of helped that.
You going to be in my part.
Hey. Shout out to you.
Thank you. Okay. Thorn. Let's talk about Thorn. We already did Rose. Let's talk about Thorn. Tell me about a recent challenge or roadblock that you may have faced.
My grandmother passing away. So, my grandmother raised me again. I grew up without my mother and father. But my grandmother was there throughout all the process, through thick and thin. And so she just passed away this past June. And it was tough. Just kind of going through the process of her assets. My grandmother, I lived in her house for a long time because she wanted me to help get it better and fix it up and stuff like that. So that's where I'm moving from to get my house and kind of building from that. So it's a big challenge and a big transition for me from a family dynamic.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, anybody who's ever lost their grandmother knows the process. So it's just a big life change for me. But my grandmother and I was extremely close. Anyone who knows me knows that even as a kid. And so it's going to be good for us, but it's a big challenge, no doubt. It's a big adjustment.
Yes, grandmothers are such a big part of your life.
Absolutely.
And so instrumental in your upbringing. And you live with your grandmother, I know it's been tough, and I'm so sorry about that, Jay.
I appreciate it.
I know you are working through this right now.
Yeah.
All right, we've talked about Rose, we talked about Thorn. Now it's time to talk about Bud. This is something that's exciting that is to come in your life.
Oh, my children, check it out. Like, they're about to be phenomenal, so I can talk about them all day.
Okay.
But my son is, my oldest we're about to go to a training camp in North Carolina for soccer. He's about to be the greatest soccer player ever. Where the camera's at?
I bet he's so
about
cold.
to be the greatest soccer player ever. And so my son is amazing in soccer. He's been doing it about 10 years now. But we're going to North Carolina. Shout out to Chapel Hill. But we're going to a training camp out there. My middle son is in the 7th grade with a college IQ.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So he's the top of his class. His lowest grade in the 6th grade was a 100. His highs was a 107. I didn't know you can get that in middle school. So, and then my baby girl, my 6-year-old daughter, Zoe, has been doing gymnastics for 3 years now. We're still consistent in it, and she'll be tumbling, which means that she'll be doing full backflips in just a year. When she should be like 8 or 9 doing them, she'll be 7 when she's doing them. So I'm excited about the growth of my kids. I love to see little brown girls doing gymnastics.
Oh
yeah, so I love it, man. I love being supportive of my kids. I love taking them to practice and seeing their development and their work. It's been consistent, and if we stay consistent, we see the results. So
amen.
That's the buds for sure. My little buds.
All right. So you did Rose, Thorn, Bud pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I like that, Jay Gray.
Oh yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for coming on the Verbally Effective Podcast, powered by We Are Memphis. Yeah. You know, we have been working together very closely through this partnership, and I really appreciate everything that you do, Jay.
Yeah,
I just know that I really do, and I think that We Are Memphis is phenomenal in the work that you all do.
Absolutely.
And just trying to change this narrative of Memphis, because there's so much here in the city that needs to be exposed.
Right.
And, you know, we're moving the culture forward with this soul. So we got to keep that story going.
Yeah, keep the soul rising, man. We have a different thing here in Memphis. It's not like any other city. They try to compare us to different cities like New Orleans or Atlanta, but we're different, and so we have a different brand here. You can hear it in the music, you can see it in the fashion, you can see it in the dance, and you can see it everywhere. And so I just want to glorify it. I just want to shine a light on that soul and bring it up, and just continue to bring it up.
Yes, well, you are definitely doing that, Jay Gray. Tell everybody how they can continue to follow your journey.
Well, for me, I'm just, I don't really do much on social media, but Jay Gray 2 is Twitter, Instagram, but We Are Memphis, Tennessee, or We Are Memphis TN is our handles on social sites. We Are Memphis TN, so you can always tap into what we're doing on wearememphis.com. And get involved or whatever, be an ambassador, whatever you want to do. We can find something for you. We do things with Memphis music. We are Memphis music. So anywhere you want to be, anything you want to do when it comes to Memphis, man, we can find something for you.
That's right. Tap into We Are Memphis. Thank you so much, Jay Gray, for, coming on the podcast and sharing your amazing journey. You've come a long way, man.
Still got a lot to go. So still got a lot to go.
Yes, we all do. Thank you so much, Jay. And thank you all for joining us yet again on the Verbally Effective Podcast, episode 219. And we have so many more Memphians to talk to about your wonderful journeys. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on all streaming platforms and the Ina Esco channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Verbally Effective Podcast, powered by We Are Memphis.